Hi everyone, Vicky here for the Team Tiny Halloween Hop. I hope you are all keeping well this morning. If you are a regular follower, then please also do check out everybody else's videos on the hashtag Team Tiny Halloween Hop, which is in the headline of this video, and it's also in the description down below. Everybody on Team Tiny has worked really hard on doing these videos, so we really hope that you do enjoy them and like them and get some inspiration from them. So if you are new to my channel and you found me through the hop, hi, welcome. I hope you're good. Please bear with me. I don't normally start my videos like this, but I didn't know how long I would need my intro to be, so this just seemed a sensible way to do it. My card for the hop is this little cutie here. So this is made with the Lawn Fawn Fox costume before and afters. That is such a long name for a stamp set, but I really hope you like the card and I really hope you enjoy the video. Please, if you do enjoy the video, hit the like button, and if you'd like to see more content by myself, also do subscribe and hit the little bell button to get alerts when I add new content. But without further ado, I will cut to my making of video, and I really hope you guys like this. Thanks, bye. So the first thing I did was to lay out my card ready, and this is just the stamp set I'm using that I've already mentioned. So I've also pre-stamped my images as well, using the My Favourite Things Extreme Black, because it's good for marker colouring. So I'm using the Blueprint and Wilted Violet in my Distress Oxides and my blending brushes. So just while I'm starting with the purple on the bottom for about 2/3 of the way up. All the card is my actual card blank. So it is a 4 by 5 3/4 inch card blank that I have just opened out and stuck down with the tape. I find that it stops me from accidentally getting ink on the underside of my card when I'm blending directly onto the front of my card blank. I would like to apologise in advance for how bumpy this little bit is. I have tried this on every desk I own, and no matter which one, it always seems to do a little bit of wobbliness. So I do apologise for that. Luckily my ink blending is relatively fast, and I have sped this up to 2 times speed. So I'm just trying to get a nice night sky kind of a blend on this one. So I'm just going backwards and forth with those 2 shades, and then very, very carefully peeling away the masking tape that I put on there. There is a tiny little white border at the bottom, you'll see, but that is fine because I'm intending to just realised that there was a little bit on the desk and I'd probably just shoved it straight in there, so I thought I'd better clean it up. So I'm intending to pop something on the bottom of the card anyway. I'm just using my bone folder just to rescore that and pop it away to dry a little bit. But there's something going on the bottom of the card that'll cover that up. So I'd already coloured in the bee off camera just to speed up a little bit the video, otherwise it would have been incredibly long again, even though I am going at 2 times speed for you. So these are the Spectrum Noir brush tri-blends that I'm using to colour this particular part. I think I do use one of the standard tri-blends for a little bit of it, but mostly it's using the brush ones. So this is the burnt orange blend, so I'm just laying down a full layer of the lightest shade first. If you haven't seen the tri-blends, they're really great if you're not brilliant at working out which markers blend nicely together yet. They were a godsend for me when I first started marker colouring, because each pen has 3 different shades in it. So it has a dark, a medium and a light that theoretically all blend nicely together. So it kind of takes some of the trial and error and the guesswork out of it for you, and obviously makes it much easier in terms of storage because you're storing 1 pen instead of 3. So I can fit 3 times as many pens in my space, and my other half doesn't realise quite how many I've got that way, which works out nicely. So I'm just now blending from blending from the darker shade into my mid shade, and then I will go over that with the lighter shade as well. I do have my Copic colourless blender that I'm just using to push some of the ink where I just went outside the lines a little bit. I've got a Spectrum Noir colourless marker as well, colourless blender, but I find that the Copic one works a bit better. It just seems to have a bit more alcohol to it and pushes it out. So this is a standard tri-blend, and this is the Tan Blend one. I'm just using a 2 colour blend for this section. So this is the face, the end of the tail, and the tummy on my little fox. So I just, again, laying down the lightest shade, and then I'm just using the mid shade because I didn't want to go too dark on this section of his fur. So I'm just obviously picking out where my shade would be, and then I'll go over again with the lightest shade. And then it is moving on to my little skeleton fox, which I do really rather love. So I decided, since I had that marker in hand, I'd just do his little bit of face first. As I did show you at the beginning, these are the Lawn Fawn Fox's costume before and after set. I just thought it was adorable and had to have it. And then when I was thinking of a card to do for this hop, it was one that I hadn't used yet, so I was quite excited to have a little go at stamping it out and making a card with it. So again, I'm just using the same blend for all the foxes. It's just a really nice, it's kind of like a reddy orange, the burnt orange, so it's not too bright, but I think it does look, I think I've only ever seen a couple of foxes in real life, but to me it looks like about the right colour, and obviously from all the pictures that I've looked at on the internet it looks like the right colour as well. And then I've got the pale pink blend. I will be able to speak at some point, just to quickly colour the inside of the ears. They're just getting a one colour in there because it is such a teeny tiny space. And then the standard orange blend for the little pumpkin. You'll see this is a bit brighter than the burnt orange blend. And again, just laying down the colour, then doing my darkest bits down to my lightest bits. And I'm also using one of the orange shades just for the beaks of my little ghosty chick, the chick ghost and the chick that's in the pumpkin. When I came to colour the little chicks, I did very nearly use my citrus blend to colour in the ghost because I thought it's a chick. Then suddenly remembered, no, it's a ghost, it's meant to be white. Whole other panic session nearly happened there. But I did realise in time, thank goodness, so I didn't totally ruin my little chick. And then I'm coming in with just my blender and then the warm grey shades. So what I do is I colour in the whole ghost in the blender, then outline him with the grey, and then use the blender again to pull the grey towards the centre. So it just has a little bit of a shadow around the edge of it, just so that he doesn't look completely white. So it does look like he has actually been coloured in. And then the next one is the bright pink shades, which are quite dark, just for the little bag. It's going to go with the little bee fox, which is a little girl, so I thought a nice pretty pink bag would be nice, and it's also a nice bit of pop of colour for it. So I'm just shading that again, laying down my lightest colour and then going from dark to light on that one. And then that just leaves my ice grey blend to colour in the bat wings and the bat headpiece. I feel like from watching The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises and all the rest of it, something like a cowl, I think, is the posh name for it. Don't quote me on that one. Batman friends, please feel free to comment below if I've said that totally wrong. So I'm just laying down some colour on that. The wings don't actually cut separately. They cut with a little bar between them, so you can literally just lay the fox over the top of them, which I think is adorable. So you've got to be careful not to actually colour in between them, or put anything in between them when you're stamping, because then it won't actually work. And then that is all the colouring. So I'm going to use the corresponding dies to cut those out. Ta-da! And I'll just pop those to one side. This is a piece of black cardstock, and I use the Honeybee Hill Borders to just cut out a nice little wavy line, and that's going to cover up that white mark, the white patch that was left from the tape. And I'm going to put my sentiment over that. So I'm going to go with the Trick or Treat for this one, just because you know, it's trick or treat time. And they are all out trick or treating. So I'm going to use my Misty, my nice new Misty, which I'm slightly in love with. So I'm just going to get that positioned exactly where I want it, and I am going to heat emboss this. So I'm going to be using just some clear embossing watermark ink and my Wow opaque white embossing powder on this. Before I forget, and I'm very pleased I remembered, I need to dust that with my anti-static bag just to make sure that the powder doesn't go where I don't want it to. And just to make sure I get a really good covering of the embossing ink, I'm going to give that a double go. I'm going to try and get everything out of the way for me to be able to actually do this embossing. So bear with as well, that moves. And then I need a trusty piece of paper underneath to catch everything so that I don't waste loads of embossing powder. So I'm just going to sprinkle that over where it is. I'm going to give it an extra coat to make sure it's nice and thick on there. Nice, good, even coverage. And then I'm just going to pour the rest of that powder back into the tub. Embossing powder, if you've never used it, lasts, well, I'm assuming pretty much forever in terms of how much you can actually get away. So I'm just going to get my heat gun up to maximum heat. I like it nice and hot. And then I'm just going to chase that ink across. So you'll be able to see it just gets darker as it heats up and melts. I'll just give it a little waft from the back as well to make sure it's all nicely done. And then brush off any of the embossing powder that's, not the embossing powder, the anti-static that's lurking. So I now need to stick my little hillside onto the card. So I decided to use a mixture of tape and tape runner and glue. Tape runner just to keep it in place once it's in, but the glue would give me that little bit of wiggle room, just so that if it wasn't perfectly positioned as soon as I put it down, I had, you know, a couple of moments rather to get it into position. So I'm just covering that back piece with the glue, and this is just Pinflair bookbinding glue. That bottle has lasted me what feels like forever. I just think the stuff's never ending. So I'm just going to give that a really good firm press down. I'm just going to use a quick little bit of kitchen roll just to wipe away the excess so that I can give it another press, and then I can cut away where it's overhanging. So I'll just get my scissors out to quickly do that. I'm getting much better at trimming down with my scissors as well. I used to be very scared of doing this for some reason that I haven't quite worked out. I think I was just worried I'd cut the side of my card off, if I'm honest. And then it's just a case of working out where everyone is going to go. But before I do that, I then suddenly realised I needed to assemble my little bat fox. So just a bit of glue onto those wings and then pop him into place and give it a bit of a press down. And then his little hat just needs to be popped on his head. Hat, cowl. I'm still adamant that it's a cowl. I do apologise if I'm wrong. Please do let me know if I am. So I'm just going to pop that on there. So that's my little bat guy all done as well. And then I'm just going to get that all set up, and then I realised there was a little bit extra hanging over at the other side as well, so I thought I'd better cut it. I was trying to decide whether to glue the little bag onto the bee straight away, but decided to wait. So I wanted to have the little bat down there. I decided I wanted the little skeleton to be jumping in the air with joy. He just looks like he's jumping, so I figured make him jump. And then I just wanted to scatter the little chicks around a bit. So I'm going to put all these flat to the card with my glue. I do quite often like to use foam pads to lift them. However, a lot of stuff's getting posted at the moment, and just to make it easier for posting, so that things that are likely to arrive in one nice piece rather than a couple of little pieces, my plan is to do this instead. So everything's going down flat on here. I think just the positioning kind of still gives it some dimension anyway. So then I've got my little bee to pop in. I really do love this little bee image. I think she's just so adorable. So we'll get her positioned nicely. You will see my trusty jar of Gilding wax come out. It's probably the heaviest jar I have. that's just quite little, so that's always nice to pop it down just to weigh everything down to make sure it stays, at least in the short term, until the glue really takes hold properly. And then I need to pop her little bag for her sweeties in her hand, and so just get that in position with my nice little tweezers. And that's them all pretty much done and dusted. Yep, I did add some sparkle to the wings a bit later on, but that's not in the video. But I hope you've enjoyed the video. Thanks again for joining me on the hop. It's been lovely to have you over here. If you have enjoyed the video, please do subscribe, and also make sure you check out all the other Team Tiny Guys videos because they will be awesome. Thanks, bye.